The celestial seeker drifted silently through Earth's outer atmosphere, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to conventional detection systems. Captain Zax 427 observed the blue planet below with 6 of his optical sensors, mandibles clicking in anticipation. His species, the Arctians, prided themselves on their technological superiority over lesser civilizations, and this primitive world would make an excellent addition to their research database. Scanners detect a small research facility in an isolated mountain region. First Officer Vec 298 reported, her crystalline exoskeleton glinting under the ship's ambient lighting. Energy signatures indicate primitive particle acceleration technology. Excellent, Zax 427 chittered. These humans are barely experimenting with quantum mechanics. They'll make perfect test subjects for the collective's anthropological studies. The Arctians had been observing Earth from afar for decades, carefully cataloging human technological development. They'd dismissed the species as unremarkable, capable of basic spaceflight and rudimentary atomic theory, but nothing that approached true galactic civilization standards. What they failed to understand was that humans had long ago learned to hide their most advanced technologies from prying eyes. The facility they targeted was actually the Bergen-Kruger Quantum Research Institute, home to Earth's most brilliant quantum physicists. The primitive particle accelerator was a cover for something far more sophisticated, a quantum computation array that could process calculations that would make most alien civilizations' supercomputers look like children's toys. The celestial seeker's transport beam activated, carefully extracting 5 humans from the facility's main laboratory. The aliens had timed their raid during the night shift, when fewer humans would be present to witness the abduction. Subjects secured in Containment Chamber 3, Vec 298 reported. Initial scans show normal vital signs. They appear to be in some sort of sleep state. Excellent, Zax 427 replied. Set course for the collective. These primitives will provide valuable insight into early-stage quantum theory development. In the containment chamber, Dr. Sarah Chen slowly opened her eyes, carefully maintaining the appearance of unconsciousness. Around her, she could sense her colleagues doing the same. Dr. James Martinez, Dr. Aisha Patel, Dr. Victor Petrov, and Dr. Marcus Wong. All of them were not just quantum physicists, but members of Earth's classified quantum defense initiative. Their apparent unconsciousness was an act. Their bodies were protected by personal quantum fields that had negated most of the transport beam's sedation effect. As they lay there, sophisticated nanosensors in their bloodstreams were already analyzing and mapping every detail of the alien vessel's technology. Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had just made a fundamental mistake in their assumptions, one that would prove very costly. They thought they were abducting primitive scientists. Instead, they'd brought aboard 5 of the most brilliant quantum minds in human history, each of whom had spent years developing technologies specifically designed to counter alien aggression. The Arctians' arrogance had led them to commit the cardinal sin of scientific research. They'd failed to question their own assumptions. They were about to learn that humanity's apparent technological limitations were a carefully crafted illusion, and their primitive captives were anything but helpless. As the celestial seeker accelerated away from Earth, none of its crew noticed the quantum entanglement signatures being transmitted from their human captives, signals that were already being picked up by Earth's hidden quantum defense network. The humans' apparent vulnerability was a carefully laid trap, and the Arctians had taken the bait perfectly. The game was about to begin, and only one side knew the real rules. Captain Zax 427 watched through the observation screen as his chief scientist, Ren 891, began the preliminary examination of their human captives. The 5 scientists sat quietly in the examination chamber, appearing appropriately dazed and confused. Exactly what one would expect from primitives confronting advanced alien technology for the first time. Fascinating specimens, Ren 891 noted, adjusting his sensor arrays. Their neural activity is remarkably high for a species at their development level. Perhaps they're experiencing stress responses. Dr. Martinez caught Dr. Chen's subtle hand signal, 3 fingers pressed against her knee. Phase 1 initiated. He cleared his throat, drawing the alien's attention. What are you?" he asked, injecting a perfect tremor of fear into his voice. As Ren 891 launched into what he surely thought was a simplified explanation for primitive minds, Dr. Patel's nanites were already interfacing with the ship's quantum substrate. Every alien vessel relied on quantum fields for faster-than-light travel. It was a universal constant of space travel. What wasn't universal was humanity's unique approach to quantum manipulation. Their verbal responses indicate basic comprehension, Ren 891 reported, pleased with himself. Though their questions are rather simplistic. Dr. Petrov asked another carefully crafted, simple question about the ship's lights, keeping the alien scientist distracted while Dr. Wang's neural implant mapped the vessel's quantum security protocols. The Arxians' technological arrogance had led them to create systems that were incredibly sophisticated and incredibly vulnerable to the right kind of attack. "Captain," VEC 298 called from her station on the bridge. "I'm detecting some unusual fluctuations in the quantum field." "Normal variance for this sector," Zax 427 dismissed. "These humans couldn't possibly affect our systems. They barely understand quantum entanglement." In truth, humanity had mastered quantum entanglement decades ago. What they'd discovered had changed their entire approach to technology. While other species built ever larger quantum computers, humans had learned to create quantum systems at the molecular level. Every one of the captured scientists had billions of quantum-enabled nanites flowing through their bodies, each one capable of interfacing with and manipulating quantum fields. Dr. Chen asked Ren 891 to explain their medical scanning technology, her genuine curiosity masking her true purpose. As the alien proudly demonstrated their advanced systems, her nanites were already rewriting the quantum signatures of the ship's medical bay. To the Arxians' sensors, everything appeared normal. In reality, they were now scanning detailed holograms, while the humans' true biological data remained hidden. Such an enthusiastic response to basic technology, Ren 891 commented to his captain. "It's almost endearing." Dr. Wang suppressed a smile. The Arxians' quantum encryption was impressive, but it was built on assumptions that humanity had bypassed years ago. While the aliens saw only simple scientists asking simple questions, the humans were systematically gaining control of every system on the ship. "Sir," VEC 298 called again, her tone more urgent. "The quantum fluctuations are increasing. And there's something strange about the containment field harmonics. Run a level 2 diagnostic," Zax 427 ordered, still unconcerned. "These humans are contained and hardly a threat. Their most advanced particle accelerator barely scratches the surface of quantum theory." The humans exchanged subtle glances. The Arxians' ignorance of true human capabilities was their greatest advantage, while the aliens saw primitive scientists struggling to comprehend advanced technology. Humanity's most brilliant quantum physicists were quietly orchestrating one of the most sophisticated technological hijackings in human history. Dr. Petrov asked another carefully worded question about the ship's power systems, noting with satisfaction how the aliens simplified their explanations for their primitive captives. Every response gave them more information, more access, more control. The Arxians' own arrogance was becoming their greatest weakness. The quantum web they were weaving through the ship's systems was virtually undetectable to conventional scanning methods. The aliens were looking for brute force attacks, for primitive hacking attempts. They weren't prepared for an assault conducted through the very quantum fields that powered their technology. "Perhaps we should begin the detailed cognitive analysis," Ren 891 suggested to his captain. "Their responses to our technology could provide valuable insight into developing minds." Dr. Chen nodded to her colleagues. Phase 2 was complete. They had achieved quantum resonance with all major ship systems. Now it was time to show their captors exactly what developing minds were capable of. The game of cat and mouse was about to change dramatically, and the Arctians still didn't realize they were the mice. Admiral Helena Santos stood on the bridge of the EDS Quantum Dawn, her expression calm despite the gravity of the situation. The massive vessel, officially classified as a research ship, was humanity's most advanced quantum warship. Its very existence was one of Earth's most closely guarded secrets. Quantum entanglement signals from the research team are stable, her tactical officer reported. They've successfully compromised the alien vessel's systems. Dr. Chen reports they're ready for Phase 3. Around the Quantum Dawn, 15 other research vessels moved into position, their true nature hidden beneath layers of quantum camouflage. To any observer, alien or human, they appeared to be nothing more than civilian science ships conducting routine stellar observations. The Arctians' arrogance is remarkable. Commander David Chen, Dr. Chen's brother and the ship's quantum warfare specialist, noted. They haven't even noticed their quantum fields are compromised. Their sensors are still showing them exactly what they expect to see. On the Celestial Seeker, Captain Zax 427 was finally beginning to sense that something was wrong. The quantum fluctuations had grown too regular to be natural variants, but his sensors insisted everything was operating normally. Ren 891. He called to his chief scientist. "Are you certain the humans are fully contained? These readings are." Before he could finish, every screen on the bridge shifted to display the same message, written in perfect Arctian script. "Did you really think we were primitive?" Dr. Chen stood up in the examination chamber, all pretense of confusion gone. Captain Zax 427. She spoke in flawless Arctian, her nanites translating in real time. "I believe it's time we had a proper discussion about your assumptions regarding human technology." The alien captain's mandibles clicked in shock. How are you doing this?" "The same way we've been monitoring your species for the past 30 years, Dr. Martinez added, also in Arctian. "Quantum field manipulation at the molecular level. Your ships are impressive, but you're still thinking in terms of macro-scale quantum computing. We passed that limitation decades ago." VEC 298's crystalline exoskeleton paled as her sensors finally showed the truth. 16 massive human vessels had emerged from quantum camouflage, surrounding them completely. Each one was bristling with technology that made the Celestial Seeker look primitive by comparison. "Impossible," Ren 891 whispered. "Their most advanced facility was barely experimenting with particle acceleration." "A facility we wanted you to see," Dr. Paddle explained, her tone almost pitying. "Just like we wanted you to think our quantum technology was primitive, your arrogance made you predictable." Admiral Santos's voice echoed through the Celestial Seeker's communication systems. "Captain Zax 427, this is Admiral Helena Santos of the Earth Defense Force. Your vessel has committed an act of aggression against Earth by abducting our citizens. However, we're willing to be reasonable, if you're willing to learn." The Arctian captain stared at his sensors in disbelief. The human ships weren't just advanced. They were operating on quantum principles his species hadn't even theorized yet. His entire understanding of humanity's technological capabilities had been based on a carefully crafted illusion. "Your species," he managed to say, "you've been hiding your true technology all along." "Of course," Dr. Chen replied. "We learned long ago that true power lies not in showing your strength, but in controlling what others believe about your capabilities. Your species saw what you expected to see, a primitive civilization barely grasping quantum mechanics. Your bias blinded you to the truth." The quantum fields throughout the Celestial Seeker shifted, and suddenly the aliens found themselves unable to access any of their ship's systems. The humans had complete control, their nanite-based quantum technology having rewritten the very fabric of the ship's operating systems. "Now," Admiral Santos continued, "shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" And perhaps more importantly, what you're going to tell the collective about why underestimating humanity is a very, very bad idea. The Arctians were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their advanced technology. It was their ability to think beyond conventional assumptions. The game hadn't just changed. It had been operating under completely different rules from the start. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the center of the Celestial Seekers Bridge, her colleagues positioned strategically around her. Through their quantum-enhanced neural links, they shared a perfect awareness of every system, every fluctuation, every desperate attempt by the Arctian crew to regain control of their ship. "Your quantum encryption was impressive," Dr. Wong commented, his fingers dancing through holographic displays only the humans could see. "The problem was your fundamental assumption that quantum states must be observed to be manipulated. We moved past that limitation years ago." Captain Zax 427 watched in mounting horror as his ship's systems displayed increasingly impossible readings. The humans weren't just controlling their technology. They were rewriting the underlying quantum principles on which it operated. "What you're doing should be impossible," Ren 891 protested, his scientific curiosity warring with his fear. "Quantum fields can't be manipulated at that scale without massive computing arrays." Dr. Paddle smiled, holding up her hand. Microscopic points of light danced between her fingers. Quantum computers smaller than dust motes, billions of them working in perfect synchronization. "Your species builds larger computers. We made ours smaller. Then we put them everywhere." On the Quantum Dawn, Admiral Santos watched the operation with pride. The 5 scientists weren't just Earth's leading quantum physicists. They were the architects of humanity's quantum defense strategy. Their abduction hadn't been a disaster. It had been an opportunity to demonstrate why underestimating humanity was a catastrophic mistake. "Admiral," her tactical officer reported, "the Arctian vessel's quantum signature is fully encoded." They couldn't regain control of their systems, now even if they understood how we did this. Dr. Martinez addressed the increasingly agitated alien crew. "Your ship's quantum fields are now entangled with our control network. Every attempt you make to override our commands only strengthens our control. The more you resist, the more you help us." Vec 298 frantically worked at her console, trying to understand how their supposedly primitive captives had turned their own technology against them so completely. "Captain, they're not just controlling our systems, they're improving them. Our quantum efficiency has increased by 300%. Consider it a gift," Dr. Petrov said, making a final adjustment to the ship's quantum matrix. A small demonstration of what cooperation with humanity could look like, instead of attempted abduction. Through the quantum link, Dr. Chen could feel the alien ship's systems singing in perfect harmony with the human fleet's quantum network. What had taken their species decades to build, they had replicated and improved upon the Arctian vessel in hours. "You should know," Dr. Chen addressed Captain Zax 427, "that everything we've done here has been transmitted back to Earth through quantum entanglement. Your entire civilization's approach to quantum technology is now obsolete. By attempting to study us, you've given us the opportunity to surpass you completely." Admiral Santos's voice filled the bridge again. "The Earth Defense Council has reviewed the situation. Given that no humans were harmed in this incident, we're prepared to be merciful. However, there will be conditions." The Arctian captain's mandibles drooped in resignation. His species had prided themselves on their technological superiority, their careful study and manipulation of lesser civilizations. In a matter of hours, 5 humans had completely shattered that illusion of superiority. "Your ship will be allowed to return to the collective," Admiral Santos continued, "but it will carry a message. Humanity is not primitive, and we are not helpless. We've hidden our true capabilities because we value peace. But make no mistake, we are more than capable of defending ourselves." Dr. Chen nodded to her colleagues. It was time for the final demonstration. With a synchronized thought through their neural network, they activated the quantum protocols they had woven throughout the Celestial Seeker. The alien ship's hull briefly glowed with impossible colors as billions of quantum computers rewrote its very structure at the molecular level. "We've upgraded your quantum drives," Dr. Chen explained to the stunned aliens. "You'll find your ship now operates at roughly twice its previous efficiency. Consider it a gesture of goodwill and a reminder of what humanity can do when provoked." The message was clear. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Arctians, they had surpassed them. The age of underestimating Earth was over. 3 months after the Celestial Seeker incident, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Collective fell silent as Captain Zax 427 concluded his report. The assembled representatives of over 200 spacefaring civilizations had listened with increasing disbelief as he described humanity's true capabilities. "And you maintain?" High Counselor Vex of the Collective asked, their crystalline form shimmering with concern, "that these humans not only defeated your systems, but fundamentally improved them using quantum technology we had deemed theoretically impossible." "Not theoretically impossible." Dr. Sarah Chen's voice rang out as she entered the chamber, accompanied by Admiral Santos. The human delegation had been invited to address the collective, a first in galactic history. "Simply impossible using your current understanding of quantum mechanics." The chamber erupted in murmurs as the 5 quantum physicists took their places at the speaker's podium. They were no longer wearing their traditional lab coats, but rather the formal uniforms of Earth's Defense Force, each bearing the insignia of the Quantum Defense Initiative. "For decades," Dr. Chen continued, "humanity has watched as various alien species observed our planet, each convinced they were studying a primitive civilization. We allowed this misconception to persist because it served our purposes. Your assumptions became our shield." Admiral Santos stepped forward. "The Arctian incident forced us to reveal a fraction of our true capabilities. Now we come before the collective to propose a new relationship, one based on mutual respect rather than presumed superiority." "Impossible," shouted a representative from the Kraxan Empire, their metallic scales bristling. "Our civilization has mastered quantum technology for millennia. You expect us to believe that humans, in mere decades—" Dr. Martinez smiled and raised his hand. The chamber's quantum field projectors, technology considered the pinnacle of collective achievement, suddenly shifted, transforming the entire room into a perfect replica of Earth's quantum defense network. Stars and galaxies swirled around the assembled aliens, showing them a universe viewed through humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics. "Your civilizations built quantum computers the size of cities," Dr. Paddle explained, walking through the holographic display. "We built them the size of molecules and put them everywhere. While you sought to control quantum states, we learned to dance with them." The display shifted, showing the modifications they had made to the Celestial Seeker. Captain Zax 427's ship now stands as proof of what humanity can offer. Its quantum efficiency exceeds anything in the collective's fleet, using principles that we developed decades ago. High Counselor Vex leaned forward, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of deep thought. "And what does humanity want in return for sharing such technology?" "Partnership," Admiral Santos answered simply. "Earth is ready to join the galactic community, not as a primitive civilization to be studied or exploited, but as equals. We've hidden our true nature long enough." Dr. Chen activated a final holographic display, showing the quantum network that now connected Earth's solar system. "We've maintained this deception because we needed to understand the nature of the civilizations watching us. Now we know who our friends might be, and who might have been our enemies." The message was clear. Humanity had not just been observing, they had been judging. The Celestial Seeker incident could have ended very differently, Admiral Santos concluded. "Instead, we chose to make it a demonstration of what cooperation with humanity could mean. The choice now lies with the collective, partnership or continued isolation." As the chamber erupted in discussion, Captain Zax 427 approached Dr. Chen quietly. "You could have destroyed us at any time, couldn't you?" he asked, his mandibles clicking softly. Dr. Chen smiled. Captain, destroying is easy. Building something better together, that's the real challenge. Your ship now stands as proof of what we can achieve through cooperation rather than conquest. The Archean captain nodded slowly, finally understanding. Humanity hadn't just surpassed his civilization. Technologically, they had demonstrated a wisdom that the collective, for all its age and power, had yet to achieve. As the collective debated humanity's offer, one truth became undeniable. The age of underestimating Earth was over. The species that many had dismissed as primitive had been quietly revolutionizing the very foundations of quantum physics, waiting for the right moment to emerge onto the galactic stage. The game had changed permanently, and humanity had rewritten the rules without firing a single shot. In the end, their greatest weapon hadn't been their advanced technology. It had been their patience, wisdom, and ability to see beyond the assumptions that limited other civilizations. The era of human isolation was ending, and a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin.